Hello and welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Hey there.
We're doing something a little different today, something a little special.
Yeah, totally different from the usual.
Right, because usually we take this huge stack of articles and books and reports and we try to summarize the whole world for you. You know, politics, tech, history.
The big sweeping topics.
Exactly. But today we are laser focused. We are looking at a single crucial chapter of biology.
That's right. We're doing a true deep dive into Chapter 19, which is excretory products and their elimination.
And before you hit pause thinking this is just going to be someone reading a textbook at you, please stop.
Yeah, give us a second here.
Do not touch that dial. Because this isn't just biology homework. If you look at it the right way, I mean, this is a high-stakes chemical engineering problem that nature's been trying to solve for millions of years.
It really is. It's fundamentally a logistics problem.
Right.
It's a waste management crisis occurring in real time inside every single living thing, and it is arguably one of the most sophisticated systems in the animal kingdom.
Exactly. And our mission today is specifically tailored for the learner.
Yes.
Hey, if you are listening to this right now and you are prepping for Neet, or honestly any major biology exam, this is 100% for you.
We've got you covered.
We are going to master the concepts of how animals get rid of their trash, and specifically how where they live dictates exactly how they do it.
We're going to connect the dots between the habitat and the chemistry. That's the secret sauce here.
The habitat is the key.
Right, because if you understand the habitat, you don't really have to memorize the chemistry. It just logically makes sense.
So let's start with the problem statement. I think we often look at animals, or even ourselves for that matter, as these perfect gleaning biological machines.
Oh, absolutely. We like to think of ourselves that way.
We eat, we move, we think. But the reality is, underneath the hood, we are messy factories.
We are incredibly messy chemical factories. Yeah. Think about it. A factory takes in raw materials, it processes them, creates a product, and inevitably, it creates waste.
You can't avoid the waste.
You cannot have production without waste. Thermodynamics literally forbids it. And like any factory that is running 24/7, if you don't clear the loading dock, the factory shuts down.
And the source material is very specific about this list of waste products. I want to walk through it because every single item on this list matters.
Let's do it.
It says we accumulate these things through metabolic activities or by excess ingestion.
Right. So either just the business of staying alive, which is metabolism, or by eating too much. The inputs create the outputs.
Okay, let's run down the inventory. What are we hoarding in this factory? What is piling up on the floor?
It's a pretty toxic mix. The source lists ammonia, urea, uric acid, carbon dioxide, water, and a whole suite of ions.
Let's look at those ions for a second, actually.
Yeah.
The source lists sodium, potassium chloride, phosphate, sulfate.
Exactly. And I want to pause on the ions because we often gloss over them to get to the big waste products.
Yeah, we rush to the ammonia part.
We do. But these ions are crucial. Sodium, potassium, chloride, these aren't just, random salts you find on a pretzel.
Right.
These are the electrolytes that run your nervous system. They control your blood pressure.
So when the text says they need to be eliminated, it's not just about dumping them because they are inherently bad.
No, not at all.
It's about regulation.
Precisely. It's about balance. If you have too much sodium, you die. If you have too little, you die.
Oh, wow.
So excretion here isn't just taking out the trash, it's intense inventory control.
Got it. So the rule of the factory is simple. These substances must be removed.
Yes.
Either totally or partially. You cannot just let them pile up on the factory floor or machinery stops working entirely.
And today, while the ions are incredibly important, we are zooming in on the big three.
The main characters.
The three main characters of this story. The ones that cause the most headaches for students and for evolution. Ammonia, urea, and uric acid.
The nitrogenous wastes.
Right, nitrogenous. That means they come from nitrogen.
Right.
And we should probably clarify where we are getting all this nitrogen from in the first place. It's not like we are eating fertilizer for breakfast.
It comes from protein, right?
Exactly. Proteins are made of amino acids.
Okay.
When you eat a steak or a bean burrito, your body breaks down those proteins. The byproduct of breaking down amino acids is the amine group. That's the nitrogen.
And that nitrogen has to go somewhere.
It has to. You can't just breathe it out like CO2.
Okay, so reading through the source material, I realized there is a core tension here. It's almost like a thriller movie.
It is.
There's this constant trade-off happening in every animal's body.
There absolutely is. It is the fundamental struggle every animal faces. It is the trade-off between toxicity and water conservation.
Let's really unpack that.
Think of water as currency. In the biological world, water is money. It's incredibly valuable.
We don't want to spend it if you don't have to.
Exactly. But you have this waste, this nitrogen, that is highly toxic. To get rid of it safely, you usually need to dissolve it in water.
Basically, the animal has to ask, how poisonous is this trash, and how much water can I afford to flush down the toilet to get rid of it?
That's the perfect way to frame it. If the trash is super toxic, you need a lot of water to dilute it so it doesn't burn your pipes on the way out.
Right.
If you want to save water, you need to turn the trash into something less toxic before you dump it.
So let's introduce our villain, or I guess the first character in our story. Segment 1, the toxicity spectrum.
The big bad.
Sitting right at the top, the bad boy of nitrogenous waste.
Ammonia.
Ammonia.
Yeah.
Chemically, it's NH3. And the source is very, very clear on this. Ammonia is the most toxic form of nitrogenous waste.
Most toxic.
It is the most dangerous substance we are going to talk about today.
How toxic are we talking? Like, don't touch it toxic. Or worse. We are talking about something that alters the pH of your cells instantly. It physically interferes with cellular respiration.
Wow.
If ammonia levels rise in your blood even a tiny little bit, you go into a coma and die. It is incredibly potent.
And because it's so toxic, you can't store it, right? You can't just keep a bag of ammonia in your body waiting for a convenient time to pee.
No, absolutely not. You cannot accumulate it at all. It needs to be diluted immediately.
Instantly.
And this is where the cost comes in. Because it is so toxic, it requires a large amount of water for its elimination.
A large amount of water.
Enormous amounts. Think about cleaning up a spill of bleach on your kitchen floor versus cleaning up a spill of milk.
Okay, yeah.
With milk, you just wipe it up with a paper towel. With bleach, you need to flush it with buckets and buckets of water to make sure it doesn't burn you or ruin the floor.
Ammonia is the bleach.
Ammonia is absolutely the bleach.
So if I'm an animal and I want to use ammonia as my waste product, I basically need to be living in a toilet.
In a way, yes. You need unlimited access to water. You need to be totally surrounded by the solvent.
Yeah.
This specific strategy is called ammonotelism.
Ammonotelism.
Yeah.
Okay, let's break down that word for everyone. The ammono part is obvious. It's ammonia.
Right.
The telism part comes from the Greek word telos, meaning end or purpose. Right.
Right. The end product, the purpose of the excretion system, is ammonia.
So who are the ammonotelic animals who can actually afford this expensive water bill?
The source lists 3 key groups. And if you are listening for exam prep, these are the ones you need to lock in right now.
Pen's ready.
It's not just all fish. It's highly specific.
Okay, hit me. Who is on the list?
First, many bony fishes.
Bony fishes, not sharks.
Not sharks. We'll get to them later. They are completely different. We are talking about your standard fish. Goldfish, trout, tuna, bony fishes.
Okay, got it. Who else?
Second, aquatic amphibians.
Like a tadpole.
Exactly like a tadpole swimming in a pond. Notice the word aquatic there. A frog sitting on a dry lily pad on land is different. But the fully aquatic tadpole is ammonotelic.
And the third group?
Aquatic insects.
I notice a distinct pattern there. Aquatic.
It's all about the habitat. If you live in the water, you can afford to waste water.
Right.
You have an infinite supply surrounding you at all times. You can afford the massive flush because the tank is literally always full.
Now let's talk about the mechanism, because this blew my mind a little bit when I was reading the source.
Yeah, this is some part.
I always just assume excretion equals kidneys. When I think of peeing or waste removal, I think of kidneys filtering blood.
Yeah.
But the source says something totally different for these guys.
This is a massive aha moment for a lot of students. The source explicitly states that for ammonotelic animals, the kidneys do not play a significant role in ammonia removal.
Wait, let me repeat that just to be sure. The kidneys don't play a significant role.
Not for the ammonia specifically, no.
Oh, how?
See, ammonia is readily soluble. It dissolves very easily in water. So generally, it is simply excreted by diffusion across body surfaces.
It's just oozing out of their skin.
Essentially, yes. It flows from where there is a high concentration, which is inside the body, to where there is low concentration, which is the ocean or the river. It's basic physics at work.
And for fish specifically?
For fish, it happens right through the gill surfaces.
The gills?
Yes. It goes out as ammonium ions. That's NH4+.
So let me get this straight. The fish is breathing with its gills, getting oxygen, and simultaneously dumping this highly toxic ammonia trash right out into the water flowing past its head.
Correct. It's incredibly efficient. But it only works because the surrounding water washes the toxic waste away instantly.
Wow.
Imagine if you had a chimney in your house that released toxic smoke, but you didn't have a fan or wind to blow it away.
The room would just fill up.
The fish relies entirely on the current of the river or the vastness of the ocean to be the fan that whisks the poison away from its body.
If you took that fish out of water, even if it could miraculously breathe air, it would poison itself with its own ammonia because it couldn't flush it out.
That is exactly right. The entire system fails immediately without the external water volume. Diffusion stops working if there isn't water on the other side to accept the waste.
That is fascinating. So ammonotelism is the high toxicity, high water use strategy.
Yes.
It's the default setting for aquatic life. It's the primitive setting, in a way.
It is. It's metabolic efficiency because no energy is spent converting the waste, but it's entirely dependent on the environment.
Right.
But then evolution happened. Animals started looking at the dry land and thinking, hey, I want to live over there.
Which brings us to segment 2, the terrestrial shift.
Right. This is where the story gets really dramatic. Animals physically move out of the water, but here is the massive problem. On land, you don't have an ocean flowing through your gills.
No.
Water is suddenly scarce. You can't afford to flush huge amounts of water just to get rid of a little waste.
So if you keep producing pure ammonia on land, you die of dehydration just trying to pee it all out safely.
Precisely. If you tried to be ammonotelic on land, you would need to drink hundreds of liters of water a day just to stay alive. It's completely unsustainable.
Wow.
This is what we call the terrestrial adaptation. The move to land strictly necessitated the production of less toxic nitrogenous wastes.
Less toxic. But wait, why does toxicity matter so much for water conservation? Connect those two for me.
Because if the substance is less toxic, you can let it accumulate a little bit inside the body.
Oh, I see.
You can concentrate it safely. You don't need to dilute it instantly with a massive flush of water.
Oh, okay. If it's less poisonous, I can hold on to it longer. I can let it build up in my bladder and pee it out in a much smaller, more concentrated volume of water.
Exactly. You are trading toxicity for time and water. Enter the second character, Urea.
Urea. How does it compare to ammonia on the danger scale?
It is significantly less toxic than ammonia. I mean, not harmless. You obviously wouldn't want to drink a glass of it, but it's much, much safer for the body to handle and store temporarily.
And the animals that use this specific strategy are called what?
They are called ureotelic animals.
Okay, ureotelic. Let's talk about the actual process here. Because unlike the fish, just happily diffusing things out of their gills into the river, this seems vastly more complicated. You can't just make urea from scratch, can you?
No, you can't. It is a dedicated metabolic pathway, and it costs energy.
Energy.
This is a really crucial concept to grasp. The animal pays a strict energy tax to save water.
Explain that. What do you mean by an energy tax?
Well, ammonia is cheap to make. It just happens naturally when you break down protein. No extra effort required.
Right.
But to take that ammonia and turn it into urea requires ATP. It requires valuable chemical energy from the body.
I see.
So the animal actively burns calories to convert the poison into something safer just so that it can save its precious water.
That's the real trade-off.
Yeah.
Energy for water.
Yes. The source outlines the path very clearly here. Ammonia is still produced by metabolism initially. Your cells still make that toxic stuff first.
Okay.
But it is immediately converted into urea in the liver.
Okay. Step 1. The liver turns ammonia into urea. This is a specific cycle, right? Like a chemical cycle.
Yes, it's often called the ornithine cycle. Though for the exam, the text heavily emphasizes the location. The liver. That is the chemical processing plant doing the heavy lifting.
Okay. So the liver does the hard work of conversion. Then what happens?
Then that freshly minted urea is released straight into the blood.
Step 2, into the bloodstream. So right now we just have urea floating around in our veins.
We do. Right now, as we sit here, you and I have urea circulating in our blood. It's traveling from the liver down to the kidneys.
That sounds crazy, but okay.
It's fine because it's not that toxic. If it were pure ammonia in our blood, we'd be dead in minutes.
And finally,
the blood reaches the kidneys. The blood is filtered, and the urea is safely excreted out by the kidneys.
Step 3, kidneys filter it out. So, unlike the ammonotelic fish, for ureotelic animals, the kidneys are absolutely the stars of the show.
They are essential. And the liver is essential too. It's a very complex dual organ effort.
So who are these ureotelic animals? Who gets to be in the urea club?
Well, just look in the mirror. Mammals are ureotelic.
Check. Humans, dogs, whales.
Many terrestrial amphibians too. Think about those frogs when they are finally living on land.
Check it. Wait, So the tadpole was ammonotelic, but the adult frog is ureotelic.
Exactly. That physical metamorphosis isn't just about growing a pair of legs and lungs. It's about entirely rewiring their internal chemical engineering so they can survive the dry land.
That is just incredible. Okay, who else is in the club?
And here's the curveball. This is the one that trips everyone up on the exam if they aren't paying attention. Marine fishes.
Whoa, hold on a second. We literally just said bony fishes are ammonotelic.
Yeah.
Now you're saying marine fishes are ureotelic.
Yes. And this distinction is vital. The source explicitly separates many bony fishes, which are ammonotelic, from marine fishes, which are ureotelic.
Let's unpack that logic.
Yeah.
Why would a fish living in the giant ocean need to save water? It's surrounded by water. It's literally swimming in an infinite supply of it.
But it's surrounded by salt water. And this brings us right to the concept of osmosis.
Oh boy.
Osmosis.
Don't panic, it's simple.
Okay.
Think about a cucumber.
Okay.
If you put a crisp cucumber in a bowl of fresh water, it stays perfectly crisp. But if you take that cucumber and put it in incredibly salty water like pickle brine, what happens?
It shrivels up. The water just gets sucked right out of it.
Exactly. Water naturally moves from a low salt concentration to a high salt concentration.
Right.
A marine fish is basically swimming in intense brine. The ocean is much, much saltier than the blood inside the fish, so the ocean is constantly trying to suck the water right out of the fish's body.
So the fish is constantly dehydrating, even though it's soaking wet. Yes, a marine fish is actually in constant deadly danger of losing its body water to the ocean via osmosis.
Wow.
So physiologically, functionally, they are actually in a dry environment. They need to aggressively conserve water inside their bodies, just like a camel does in the desert.
That is completely wild. So a shark, which is a marine fish, is chemically more similar to a camel than it is to a freshwater goldfish.
In terms of their core nitrogenous waste strategy, absolutely. They both use urea to aggressively save water.
That is a classic deep dive nugget right there. Marine fishes equal ureotelic. Do not forget that if you're taking the test.
And cartilage fishes, like sharks and rays, they are the absolute classic examples here. They actually retain urea in their blood on purpose to help fight that massive osmotic pressure.
On purpose?
Yeah, they purposely make their own blood salty with urea so the ocean doesn't steal their water.
And speaking of retaining urea, there's another really nuanced detail about ureotelism that the source mentions. It's about osmolarity.
Yeah, the keeping the pee part.
Yeah, exactly. The source literally says that some amount of urea may be retained in the kidney matrix of some of these animals.
Right.
Why? I mean, why would you keep waste inside your kidney? Isn't the entire point of this elaborate system to get it out of the body?
It is, but they keep a little bit to maintain a desired osmolarity. Essentially, to keep the complex chemical balance of the kidney fluids exactly correct.
But break that down a little more.
Your kidney relies on steep concentration gradients to do its job filtering. It needs a very salty environment deep inside the tissue to physically suck water back into the body from the urine.
Okay.
Sometimes the body actually uses urea, which functionally acts like a salt, to make the kidney tissue salty enough to work properly.
So it's sort of like keeping some old, gross cardboard boxes in the garage just because you might need them for packing something else later. It's technically trash, but it's highly useful trash.
A little bit, yes. It completely challenges the basic idea that waste is always 100% bad. Sometimes the body brilliantly recycles a toxic waste to create the exact environment needed to save water. It turns the trash into a vital physiological tool.
That is profound. It's just brutal efficiency.
Nature hates waste. If it can use a molecule for something, it will definitely find a way.
Okay, so recapping the spectrum. We have ammonia, toxic, needs lots of water, cheap to make. We have urea, less toxic, needs less water, costs some energy to make.
Right.
But what if you need to be the absolute ultimate water saver? Like extreme.
Then we move to segment 3, Ureotelism.
The extremists.
These are the undisputed champions of water conservation.
Yeah.
What if you are an animal living in the absolute driest desert? Or what if you are a bird?
Wait, why does being a bird matter for water conservation?
Wait.
Ah.
Water is incredibly heavy. 1 liter of water is exactly 1 kilogram. If you are an animal that flies, you absolutely cannot afford to carry a heavy, sloshing bladder full of liquid urine.
It would ruin your flight dynamics.
It's aerodynamic suicide. You need to get rid of the nitrogen without carrying any of the water weight.
So you need something that requires almost zero water to flush out.
Enter our third character, uric acid.
And on a toxicity scale, where does this sit?
It is the absolute least toxic nitrogenous waste. It's practically inert. It's not going to burn your cells or alter your pH much at all.
And the water requirement for getting rid of it?
Minimum. Almost practically none.
This is exactly why bird poop is so weird, isn't it? It's not really liquid.
Exactly. The source describes it perfectly for the exam. Uric acid is excreted in the form of a pellet or paste.
A paste?
Because there is so little water involved in the process, the uric acid actually precipitates out of the solution.
It turns solid.
It crystallizes. It becomes a solid or semi-solid white paste. This brilliant adaptation allows the animal to remove the toxic nitrogen with a strict minimum loss of water.
So who are the elite members of this dry club? You mentioned birds, obviously.
Birds, yes. Also reptiles.
Which makes perfect sense.
Wait.
Lizards baking on a hot rock in the sun. They can't just stop at a water fountain to rehydrate.
Exactly. They have to lock down every drop. And here's another really interesting one from the text. Land snails.
Oh, interesting. Snails seem so slimy and wet to me, but I guess they can dry out super easily.
Right. They have to produce massive amounts of wet slime just for movement.
Oh, true.
So they absolutely can't afford to waste their internal water on liquid pee. They desperately need that water for the slime, so they excrete dry uric acid instead.
That makes total sense. And finally, the last group.
Insects.
Insects.
Yeah.
So the gross cockroach scurrying across the kitchen floor.
Highly ureotelic.
It's saving every single drop of moisture it can.
It has to. An insect has a very high surface area to volume ratio, meaning physically it loses internal water to the dry air incredibly easily. It needs to hoard every single drop.
But there's a major cost here too, right? We just said urea costs energy to make.
Yeah.
Uric acid must cost even more.
Yeah, it's a huge metabolic cost. Uric acid is a very large, complex molecule. It's a dense double ring structure.
Okay.
It takes a lot of ATP, a ton of energy, to meticulously build it out of simple ammonia.
So the bird essentially pays a massive energy bill to construct this complex uric acid molecule, purely so it doesn't have to carry water weight.
Exactly. It's high energy cost, but extremely low water cost.
Yeah.
Compare that to ammonia, which is low energy cost, but incredibly high water cost.
It's all just a biological balance sheet.
It is pure chemical accounting.
Okay, let's do a quick synthesis review right here. A rapid fire round to lock this firmly in memory before we move to the anatomy section. I'll give you the category, you give me the winner.
Let's do it.
Most toxic waste.
Ammonia.
Least toxic waste.
Uric acid.
Most water needed to excrete.
Ammonia again.
Least water needed.
Uric acid.
And the one sitting right in the middle.
Urea.
Perfect. And just to quickly recap the who for the exam.
Right, let's list them. Ammonotelic are the bony fish, aquatic amphibians, and aquatic insects.
Check.
Ureotelic are mammals, terrestrial amphibians, and the tricky one, marine fish.
Got it.
And uricotelic are reptiles, birds, land snails, and insects.
You absolutely nailed it. That is the chemical engineering part of the chapter down solid. That's the what. But the source material doesn't just stop there.
No, it definitely doesn't. Now we have to shift gears completely. We've talked extensively about what is coming out of the body. Now we need to talk about the physical hardware. How is it actually getting out?
Segment 4. A survey of the animal kingdom, specifically looking at the excretory structures.
This is where we move away from physiology and get into the anatomy. We are moving from the chemistry to the actual plumbing.
And the source makes a very broad, general distinction right off the bat between the simple animals and the complex ones.
Right. It notes that in most invertebrates, so the animals without backbones, these excretory structures are just simple tubular forms.
Just basic tubes.
Simple plumbing. Nothing fancy.
Whereas invertebrates, like us, and dogs and fish.
We have highly complex tubular organs that we call kidneys.
But for the exam, and frankly for general biology knowledge, the devil is really in the details of those simple invertebrates. There is a huge match, the following list here, that we need to go through very carefully.
Oh, yeah.
This is prime, high-value testing material.
This is a classic matching section waiting to happen. Let's carefully break down the 4 specific anatomical structures mentioned in the text. I want to give the listener a clear mental image for each one so it really sticks.
Let's do it. Structure number 1. Protonephridia, also commonly known as flame cells.
I honestly love that name, flame cells. It sounds like something straight out of a superhero comic.
It sounds super cool. Why are they actually called flame cells, though?
Because under a microscope, if you look closely, these cells have a little bundle of cilia, which are little microscopic hairs that constantly flicker back and forth.
Okay.
The rapid movement looks exactly like a tiny flickering candle flame. That physical flickering motion is what actively pulls the body fluid into the tube.
That is a brilliant mental image. So who actually has these flickering flame cells inside them?
The source lists a very specific group, platyhelminthes,
Which are?
flatworms, like planaria. These are those tiny little flat, cross-eyed looking guys you find in freshwater streams.
Okay, flatworms. Who else is on the flame cell list?
Also rotifers, some annelids, and the cephalochordate called Amphioxus.
That is a serious mouthful. Flatworms, rotifers, some annelids, Amphioxus.
Okay, now here is the crucial nuance for the test. What do these flame cells actually do?
This is exactly where you have to pay close attention to the wording. The source says Protonephridia are primarily concerned with ionic and fluid volume regulation.
That's just a really fancy way of saying osmoregulation, right?
Exactly. While they are technically excretory structures, the text explicitly highlights their specific role in actively balancing the water and the salts.
It's less about simple trash removal and way more about delicate balance.
Perfect way to remember it.
So for flame cells, the mental link should be flatworms, a flickering candle, and balancing the water.
Perfect. That will get you the point.
Okay. Structure number 2, Nephridia. Notice it's not Protonephridia this time, just Nephridia. This is a distinct step up in evolutionary complexity.
Right. So who has these upgraded tubes?
Earthworms and other annelids.
The classic earthworm out in the garden soil. It has Nephridia. And what is their exact function according to the text?
They help to selectively remove nitrogenous wastes and also maintain a fluid and ionic balance.
So it's a dual function this time. Waste removal plus osmoregulation balance.
Exactly. A bit more advanced.
Okay. Moving to structure number 3. Malpighian tubules.
This is a really big one. This is the definitive insect solution to the plumbing problem.
So Malpighian tubules are the primary excretory structures of most insects.
And the text specifically names one very famous insect right here to make sure you know it.
Cockroaches.
Of course it does. The cockroach is the ultimate model organism for this.
So cockroaches use Malpighian tubules. What do they actually look like inside the bug?
They're these incredibly thin little blind-ended tubes that literally just float freely in the insect's blood, which is called hemolymph. They just passively soak up the waste like little tiny fingers floating around in the internal soup of the bug.
And what exactly do they do with that soup?
Removal of nitrogenous wastes and osmoregulation. Again, both jobs.
Right.
And remember, since it's a terrestrial insect we're talking about, that waste they pull out is almost certainly being actively turned into that dry uric acid paste we talked about.
Right. Elegantly connecting back to the chemistry from the previous segment.
Exactly. The structure and the chemistry always work together.
Structure number 4. Antennal glands, also commonly called green glands.
Green glands. I always strangely remember this one because prawns live in the sea. The sea is sometimes green. It's a really loose mental connection, but it honestly works for me.
Whatever gets you the grade. Who actually has them?
Crustaceans. And the text specifically mentions prawns.
Prawns have green glands. Why are they called antennal glands, though? Where are they?
They are literally located right at the base of the animal's antenna. That's exactly why they are called antennal glands. Imagine physically peeing out of your forehead.
That is an incredibly disturbing image.
I know, but it is completely unforgettable now, right? You won't miss that question.
True. I will never look at a prawn the same way.
Yeah.
And they perform the standard excretory function.
Correct. They handle the waste.
So let's quickly recap that matching list because it is super dense and important. Flame cells go to flatworms and planaria, primarily for osmoregulation. Nephridia go to earthworms, Malpighian tubules go to cockroaches and general insects, and green glands go to prawns and crustaceans.
That is the definitive list. If you can clearly keep those specific pairs straight in your head, you are totally golden for that part of the exam.
Now we are into segment 5, synthesis. I really want to try to connect these two massive topics we just covered.
Let's do it.
The chemicals, meaning ammonia, urea, and uric acid, and the physical structures, the tubules and kidneys.
Let's try to weave them seamlessly together because this is where real, deep understanding actually happens.
Okay, take an insect, a cockroach. Based purely on the source text, we now know 2 vital things about it.
We know it uses Malpighian tubules for its physical structure. And because it is a dry terrestrial insect, it is highly likely ureotelic, meaning it's actively excreting uric acid pellets.
So functionally, a cockroach is a biological machine that uses little floating Malpighian tubules to continually sift through its blood, pull out the toxic nitrogen trash, and use energy to convert it into a dry, safe uric acid paste.
Perfectly put. It is a highly tuned water conservation machine.
What about our forehead-peeing friend, the prawn?
Well, a prawn is a crustacean, so we know structurally it uses green glands or antennal glands.
Right.
Now, the text doesn't explicitly state the exact chemical waste product for the prawn, but let's just apply our logic here. Where does a prawn live?
In the water. It's usually a fully aquatic animal.
So logically, it is highly likely to be what?
Ammonotelic.
It's a very safe bet. Being fully aquatic almost always means ammonia is the default. Though, because it's a marine animal in salt water, it might theoretically have some ureotelic traits to handle the salt.
Ah, like the marine fish.
Right. But structurally, for the test, it's green glands.
And then we have the classic earthworm.
Uses nephridia, lives in moist, damp soil.
And finally, what about the vertebrates? The mammals, the birds, the reptiles?
They all fully graduated to using the complex kidney, but here's the real beauty of the whole system.
Yeah.
Even though they all share the exact same basic kidney hardware, they run totally different software programs on it.
Oh, I really like that analogy.
Well,
same hardware, radically different operating system.
Exactly. The mammal kidney runs the Urea software. It is specifically tuned by evolution to filter urea and excrete a moderately concentrated liquid urine that wastes just a little bit of water.
And the bird kidney.
The bird kidney entirely runs the uric acid software. It is finely tuned to precipitate that heavy nitrogen into a dry white paste.
Same organ?
Same basic organ, the kidney. But the final chemical output is entirely driven by their specific habitat and their strict evolutionary needs.
And that really brings us to the ultimate why of all this. Why did nature even bother with all these wildly different methods?
It's a great question.
Why not just have one single universal way to pee? Why is it so incredibly complicated?
It absolutely all comes back to that initial massive problem we discussed in segment 2, terrestrial adaptation.
The move to land.
Yes, the source says it explicitly. Terrestrial adaptation necessitated the production of lesser toxic nitrogenous wastes for conservation of water.
It's the relentless biological drive to conquer the dry land.
Think deeply about the history of life on Earth. Life started safely in the ocean.
Right.
In the ocean, ammonia is totally fine. It's cheap, it's easy. But if you want to leave the ocean, if you want to crawl onto the hot beach, if you want to climb a dry tree, if you want to fly high in the dry air, you fundamentally have to solve the water problem first.
You literally can't leave the ocean if you are permanently tied to an ammonia-based waste system. You'd simply dry out and die in minutes.
Exactly. Developing urea and uric acid was the biological passport that finally allowed animals to confidently walk into the burning desert, to fly efficiently in the sky, to comfortably live in your dry kitchen cabinets.
It's chemical engineering functioning as a sheer survival strategy. It's not just, basic potty training for wild animals. It's the essential key to global colonization.
It really is. Without the invention of uric acid, there are absolutely no birds in the sky. Without the invention of urea, there are no humans walking the earth.
That really puts the whole chapter in a massive new perspective.
It does. It makes it much more than just a list to memorize.
Okay, we are rapidly coming to the end of our deep dive today. Let's wrap this up with a big picture takeaway. If the listener sitting at home remembers just one thing from this entire hour, what should it be?
The single biggest takeaway is that biological excretion isn't just about frantically getting rid of the bad stuff. It is a brilliant, highly delicate balancing act directly involving toxicity, water availability, and anatomy.
Big three factors.
Yes. You are basically either flushing highly toxic ammonia with lots of free water, or you are stubbornly spending precious energy to convert it into safer urea or uric acid purely to save your water.
It's always a strict trade-off. There is no free lunch anywhere in biology.
Absolutely no free lunch. Every adaptation has a price.
And remember the three major tellas for the test.
Right.
Ammonotelic, those are the water lovers.
Yeah.
Ureotelic, the standard land dwellers and the tricky marine fish. And Uricotelic, the extreme water misers.
And please don't forget the matching structures. Flame cells to flatworms, Nephridia to earthworms, Malpighian tubules to insects, green glands to prawns.
I want to leave everyone with a final, slightly provocative thought, something that jumped right out at me from the source text that I honestly just can't stop thinking about.
Oh, what's that?
It's that tiny weird bit about the kidney purposefully retaining some urea.
Ah, yes. The osmolarity trick.
Right. We spend our whole lives universally thinking of biological waste as something inherently gross, something to be expelled immediately, something that has absolutely zero value to the body.
We do. We are conditioned to think trash is just trash.
But nature is so ruthless and so efficient that it sometimes pauses and says, hey, wait a second. This toxic urea, if I intentionally keep just a little bit of it trapped inside the kidney matrix, I can actually use it to dynamically balance my internal fluids better.
It literally turns the dangerous trash into a vital tool.
Exactly. It completely challenges the very fundamental definition of what waste even is.
Yeah.
If a toxic byproduct is suddenly structurally useful to survival, is it really waste anymore?
That is a deeply profound question. In evolutionary biology, the context is absolutely everything. A deadly poison in one specific place is a life-saving tool in another.
So next time you are sitting in the park and you see a bird up on a wire, or you see a fish swimming in the glass tank, don't just briefly look at them.
Really look at them.
Think about the incredible silent chemical factories running nonstop inside them. Think about the ammonia, the urea, the precise calculations of uric acid.
Appreciate the millions of years of engineering that went into every single drop.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.
Keep studying, keep learning. You've got this.
See you next time.